Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's continue now. This is the one we are doing in the last class. We were talking about this one. So how to play with files. So that's what we were discussing, I believe. So here how to, this is the open file, read contents and display content, close. I believe we did the same in the last session. So, this is the one we were doing in the last session. I hope you remember. Yeah, we were able to read a file and then we converted it into, you can see, right, list, and then we tried to extract each column from that data, right? And from that file, what we did is we tried to split data according to columns, and then we tried to add or store each column into one list. And that's what we did in the last class. I hope it was a good session and we had very detailed discussion about it. So let's move to the next topic. Today, we'll talk about another one, what is nothing but read and. So we had discussed about read method yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, in the last session. So you see, this is how we read a file. We open a file and then we read it. Generally, read returns a string. We had discussed that. And that string we have to again process if we need to extract data from that string. And we did that. We had discussed that in the last session. Now, there are different types of reading in Python. If you want to read something from a file, we have different read methods. So this one we had discussed. This is done. Let's move to the next, another type of read. So these are all different reads, right? So just default read and read of n, just a minute. Okay. So let's talk about read of and read lines and read. Today, let's complete all this. Okay. Today, what we do is first we'll try to focus on understanding each of these methods. Later on, we will try to focus or concentrate on some projects, mini projects. So read of n is simple, friends. Read method, it reads the whole file and returns it in the form of a string. Read of n means how many characters you want to read from a file. That is the meaning of that. Read line means this one, this reads. Suppose when you say, I'll talk with example. Here I'm just giving you a quick idea. So what it says, what it does, it reads a number of characters from a file. If you don't want to read whole file, and if you want to just read some characters from a file, so in that case, read of n is useful. For example, you see here, if you say f dot read of some 10, if you say this, that means this method reads only 10 characters from the file. I hope this is clear. Understood? Right. So that is a simple idea. I hope this is clear. Right. Similarly, read line. Read line means so read line reads exactly one line of text from a file or one line of data from a file. Read line reads all data from a file. But difference is this. This returns again in the form of a list. Suppose the difference between read and read line. Again, you ask me, both look similar. Read also, it reads the whole data from a file, but it returns that data in the form of a string. Okay, but read lines read all data and returns. See, the difference is between returning what kind of data it is returning is important. It returns in the form of this returns in the form of list. Whereas read method, when you ask about read returns the whole data in the form of what string, friends. So that's it, friends. I hope you are clear with all these methods now, right? So read. So hope you are clear with all this, right, friends? So this is the simple idea. We'll test one by one quickly now. Let's quickly test it. Later on, we'll see some use cases. Not a problem. So first one, let's do this now. Read of n. Let's take anything of our choice. Okay. So already we had discussed about read, right? So we have this file as well. We will use the same file for our use case now. Let's open the program. Let's create a new Python program. Okay. New Python file. Uh, we will take it as read methods testing. Take it as. So we have different reads, right? We are trying to understand each and every read method. So we know from yesterday. So this is the one. You can choose the same file path because I use this one. You can also use the same. I mean, in my machine, this is the absolute path or full path. Right. It is saved in this text file is saved in this path. We drive Python free sessions, and I'm using same path. And you can also use the same path if you want. Okay, what you can do now. So you can copy this. Just use this open thing. Later on, other things we'll check one by one. Now here, if you see, first thing, this is step one. Now you can add a comment. Read methods, read functions if you want. Whatever you want, you can add it. Testing or different testing different read methods. You can add comment as you like. Okay, this is step one. Opening file. We opened it. This is the file I believe which we have. This is the text file, and you can see here. Now you see now. Let's demonstrate first one. This is we are checking. First thing is read of n method. Okay, this method. So how to use it? Simple. So some data equal to some read of some 10. If you can pass whatever value you want. Just we are just testing like how this read function this function works. Okay, this version works. How read of n works here. So we pass read of 10. But of course we have an error, right? We should call this read method on this employee this thing dot read and then close it, and then now you can just print it directly. You don't need to do anything. Directly print it. Just we are just only trying to understand the behavior of each read method here. So this is simple idea about how to apply read of n and how to print that data, and we did that now. So finally, if you want, you can close it. So testing this version is done. So what you can do. So we opened a file. We read the data, and then you can close the file now. EMP, you can just simply say EMP file dot close. Okay, run this now. So quickly test it. So this gives you a quick idea how to use this method read of n, friends. Hope this is clear. Now right click and then say run this, and you can see you don't worry about what is the output here. You can see you can exactly it returns 10 characters from the file, from this data file. What is that? Employee.txt. You can see employee number three characters, employee name how much? 5. 3 plus 5, 8. And these two commas together 10. So this method read method, it read 10 characters from the file and return that here. I think this is also a string here. If you want to know the type of that data, you can simply print type of what is that, just to understand what is the nature of that data, what would be the type of that data. If you are curious of it, you can check the type of that here quickly. Okay, and then you can print it. So right click and then print it here. You can see now. So it is a string type, like read. Even read of n is also returning a string data. Okay, so that is quick idea about read of n. We know about read now, read of n, and let's quickly try with read another one. What is that? So we tested this. If you want, you can also test this. I'll just share this code with you in the chat box. So adding this in the chart. Okay, let's add it now. Hope you can test it, friends. If you wish, you can quickly test all this one by one. And also please come up with questions that would help to understand better. If you have any confusion, please don't hesitate. Ask me. Next one after that. So read is done, friends. Read of done, n is done. Next one is this one. Read line. Let's talk about read line here. This one. How to use this. Let's apply. So this is our file. Sorry, friends. So this is our file here.
This read line, all these are presented in which package, sir?
So these are all there. It's not something in package. Who's that? Rajana?
Naveen.
Naveen. Here, exclusively, there won't be any library for this. We don't import, but these are part of this file processing. Once you open file and assign that file to some variable, this reference, we can keep applying these methods. So we don't have any specific module to work with. These are built-in methods to work with files. That's all. And these are what we say generic methods.
Okay.
Do you understand?
No need to import any statement. Yeah.
And these are not something specific like are part of any module. Like for example, if you say math module, right? So that they have different methods, absolute method or square root or all this. If you want to use such methods, you have to import some module. But for this, there is nothing like you should import any module, Naveen. Is that clear? And
Yeah.
these are direct methods. We have to use as is, like how you are using the syntax, and we should follow syntax and you should apply it, Naveen. Nothing like any module
Yeah,
here.
all these are like functions, right? Since we are not calling with the class name or we have not created any object.
Correct. These are direct methods which are intended to implement this file handling, Naveen.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Clear now?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Right, that's the idea. Okay, now what we do? Let's. This is idea about this one. I hope your question is clear, Naveen. Right?
Yeah, sir. It's clear now.
Okay, right. Let me jump to the next one. See this one. So what is that? So read line. Let's quickly apply read line now. This is again. This is project 2 is done for this. Let's apply. Yes, this is a very simple project. What we just created. This is project 2 on files. Next, create a simple project now. Project 3. Okay. So now let's again, maybe we can create separate program, or we can use the same program and apply it. It's up to us. Okay. Right. And there is a small this thing. Suppose you see here, I'll talk one by one, pros and cons. If you ask me, Manoram, you have already opened a file. Why don't you apply this read line method on the same file? Why again you know creating one more simple quick project? It will see all that. I'll show you. So what if we use the same file and continue from there, or what? And what is the advantage benefit we have if you create a new file? All that we'll see one by one. Okay. Again, I am opening file and we'll come to that part again. So I just whatever I have discussed, right? Quickly making some changes. Let this be as is. Maybe if you want, you can change file name, or else sorry, this pointer name or reference name. Else you can use this reuse the same. So if you are using it again, the previous one will be overwritten with new one. That's all. Otherwise, you can create a new one if you want. That's up to you. So what you can do, if you want, you can put like this EMP2. But if you use the same EMP file, nothing happens for testing purpose. Okay. So right, just create like this. Now what you have to do, instead of read, what you have to do, simply what you should do is read a line here. That's over. And it just reads a line of, like you can see, this is the file, right? From this, what read line does is it reads first line, the header part it will read and return. That's all, friends. So what read line will do is it reads a line of data from a file. What it does, it reads a line of data from a file. So that's all. If you want, you can print type of data and print. You can keep this as is, just to know what would be the return type of read line, and then and print that data. So we are doing just two quick tests here. One is checking the type, second one printing the data. That's all, friends. We are doing these two here. So what we do, let's run this now, and you get ignore the first output because this is not needed. So this one and this one, and you can see this is actually returning, read line is returning again a string here, and you can see that whole string, that whole line is returned in the form of string here. It is returning exactly a line of data from that file, you can see here. So this is what read line does. Read line read and returns a line of data from a file. Here, this is just our data structure is like this. So it return the first line, whatever file it might be, whatever data it might be. It just reads one line. This read line returns one line from that file and returns that in the form of a string. By default, return type of read line is always string here. Okay. So that is the quick idea about read line. Hope you are clear on that. Next one, project 4. Project 4 is about read lines. You can see now project 4. So this is about what read lines method. Okay. And then you can copy and paste this just for testing purpose. We are trying to understand each and every method here. So what you can do again, employee file 3 here, and then just make a quick change. And then now what you do, just instead of read line, put read lines here. Then what happens? So this read lines returns, read and returns whole data from the file. That's all. Okay. Now again read and print it. Okay. So now you can print it. We followed all the steps. Open a file, read the contents from a file, and then print the data from a file and close the file. These are the steps we are following here. Right click, and then what you do, you can run the program. You can see the output. So read lines is returning what? This is returning list. So this returns what? This returns a list here. If you see, that is clearly showing list. List is nothing but your Python data structure, Python collection otherwise. Right. So it returns this list here, friends. Hope this is clear. Right? This is all idea. And you can see now, once it returns list, and you know this is list, and you can see at the end of each line, there is a new line. Based on this new line, what you have to do, we have to do some split or something, or as it is already a list, no problem. Each line is stored as a string. So when you iterate it from this when you iterate this list, it returns each line from this list. Each line is nothing but a collection of that whole row. Each one line here is one row, or one string here is one row. Now what you have to do while processing, you have to apply split. And don't forget to remove this new line from department number, or new line from this whole string. Every time you have to again do removal of this new line. So this is by default included, because why this new line is added at the end of each string here? Because you see here, this is your data file. This happens sometimes when you try to process data. This kind of some special escape sequences is included into your output. And as a developer, your responsibility is to remove all these special characters. Make sure while processing you remove this. If you want, I can show you now how to remove this. We'll just do a quick what do you do? Quick processing on this to iterate this list now. I hope you are clear with this. And so first thing, we understood what read lines does, and then it returned like all lines in the form of a list, and each line is taken as one string, or each row is stored as one string. Why new line is appended after each at the end of each row? Because you can see here this is the data file, and you can see after each line we press enter. When you press enter, a new line character implicitly is added into this file. When you press enter, how it happens is it enter a new line, something like this, that we don't see. That is stored as an implicit character. Right. So just giving you a clear idea why new line is present in your output here. In each row, why new line is appended at the end of each string. Because here, once you add this data, every time you try to press enter. So after, that's why that new line is implicitly added to this file. Now what you have to do, this is a quick idea about all different types of reads. And which read you want to apply, it depends on your project requirement, your program requirement. While processing data, which read you should apply, the first one or second one, third one, fourth one. You can choose whichever you want, and based on that, you can do the processing. I hope you are clear, friends. Right now, shall we process this now? Are you okay if we should process this fourth type? Because second and third, we don't have big challenge there. We don't have any big problem with second type or third type, but fourth type we need to do little processing. Shall we do a quick processing on this? What you should do now? So simply, if you want to extract this data from the list, what is that you should do? Iterate it first. So apply iteration. So here I'm just writing as quick data iterating list. Iterating rows from a list. Okay, this is the comment, and then you can simply say for the syntax, right? For row in data. Okay, I'm writing it dynamically in the session itself. We are building code. So we are iterating data. Data is a list. We had already discussed collections. It is like again touch basing each of these topics. Okay, so we are iterating list and copying. Every time we iterate list, one value from list is copied to row. Now we are copying this, and after that this one, and after that this one, and after that this one. While doing that, we have to apply a split if you want to read this data column wise from this row, because this row has again collection of columns. If you want to break or split data according to column, apply a split. This is the common practice you do even in a real work. You don't do something really different from there. Okay. So what you do now? So Once you are iterating like this, what you should do is row is something which is your value, your string here. You should apply a split on this string. How do you apply split with comma? Because this is the most common generic, I mean the most common delimiter between in all the rows here. So what you do now, you split this each row with comma here, friends. Okay, so now what you are doing is one by one, step by step, we are following the algorithm. So now here calls equal to row dot, what you should apply row dot split, and that split you do by comma here. Okay, but all is fine except with let's see how it works, because department number will come with the new line added to that. So we have to just remove that from department number if you want to get it as a simple value here. Otherwise, this new line with the department number doesn't make sense actually. So we should do some little processing with that as well. We'll do that. So now, just for testing purpose, first print your calls here and see how the data look like. Okay, right click and print it. Now you can see now this is after reading each row. This is your data. You can see here, and then we apply a split, right? Again, split will split data and return a call. I mean, return a list. So what it does is all the behavior of split is. So when you apply split here, it splits each of that row and returns what you can see here. If you put cursor on that, so somewhere you can find put a cursor. Yeah, you can see there. What is the return type of split here? It is nothing but a list again. So on this each, where is it? On each column, let's run it 1 minute. So this is the one. I think we are here. I'll do one thing because we have multiple outputs. Little. Okay, this should be our output. See here, this is our output. Now what happened? It iterated this read files, and then every time what we have here, I think what we should do is that these two we should put on top of. Then it would be much more better put here so that you get a clear picture. Now run this again. So now this is much more clearer. This is actual list with all that each row as a string here. Now when we iterate this list, this each string is split, and that divided values, right? That splitted values, whatever values we split, that is stored in the form of list. You can see this list is not. You can see here each column is stored as a separate value, but earlier the whole row is stored as one string. Now we apply a split on each of that row, and then now each row again is stored as a list here in the form of values. Here you can see each column has one value. Here you can see now this split is done successfully. But department number again has a problem. It is having new line. You have to remove this new line from department number and replace it in the same list itself. You can see here. So you have to apply a little processing. What is that you should do? You should do a quick processing on this. Which one we should see? On these 5 rows. You can see here first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and sixth doesn't need that actually. But you can apply it. There is nothing wrong if you just apply same logic on all it. Otherwise, you can ignore the fifth one. It's up to you. Right? So you can ignore it except fifth one. You have to apply that removal of new line from all other rows. And how do you do that now? So till 4, you have to use this employee number, and based on employee number, you can apply this processing. Shall we do it now? Let us just quickly remove this. Calls is our this one. What you have to do? You have to read that department number from calls. This is a fixed data structure, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, this is the list. It has indexing, and indexing starts from 0 to size -1. You know very well. If you have 5 values, index ends with 4. You know very well. We had already discussed all this. Excuse me, friends. So let's what we do. We try to extract department number, remove this new line from there. Remove means apply slicing, that's all. Just extract first 3 characters from department number. So 0 to 3, you can just choose till 3, that's all. That's enough for us. Okay, or till 4. 4 will be ignored, right? So what you should do now? You have to apply a quick slicing on department number 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth index for department number. So now what you can do, you can straight away choose the index here. What you can choose, straight away choose index. There are different ways, but choose the column here, and what is the index of that column? You choose that and apply processing to remove this new line. What you do now? Here, some call equal to, right? Calls of, what is that one? Some 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 calls of 4. Now we are trying to remove this new line in case if some special characters are included in your data, how you need to process them. That is this is what use case we are building right now. So one is reading data and understanding each of these methods. So we did all that now. And at the same time, when you read some data and some special characters are included to your data, how we remove that? That's what we are doing now. Right. So this calls of 4, we choose it, and then now and we try to assign to this one. Okay, call value. Now after that, what we do? Now we can simply apply a slicing here. What is that slicing? On this call, you can choose a slice. How many characters you should read here up to? If it is this one, the first one, if it is a heading, we have to read up to 3. Right. Otherwise, you can do some remove, right? Can we apply remove? So otherwise, you do one thing, because there is a slide. You can see this. When you look at this output, there is some difference between length of the first row, first department number, second one. So this has 3 characters, this has 2 characters. You do one thing. You apply slicing with this, okay? Wherever you see new line, just get that, and then try to apply, get the count of this one or length of this, and try to remove that new line directly. Instead of trying to apply slicing on the first characters, remove on apply on this now. Okay, what we do now? Let us see. We will just try to. Do you get my point here? So as there is difference between length of each value here, directly checking the new line, the position of new line, and removing it is the best choice. That is the idea. You got
So
it right?
else can
Yes.
we check like contain slash n? So if it is contain slash n, then replace the slash n with space.
If we add space again, we have to remove that space as well, Naveen, because our value should not have any like spaces or special symbols, all that, Naveen. So the idea should be we should make it as a perfect value. No spaces, no special symbols, all that. You got it right?
Yeah, I mean without space, just empty double code.
Not empty. Even if you put empty double quote, okay, you mean I got it.
Replace with
Yeah,
slash.
that is also a choice. Yeah. So yes, correctly. You can apply all that. But point is, what you have to do, you have to check with the new line. What is the length of that? Then just replace it. That's all. You got it right. So replace option is
Yeah.
one, or remove option is one. There are multiple things, right? So we can choose whichever we want from that. Okay. See, I got your point. So instead of open space, you are asking just close space so that nothing is included. That's what the point, right?
Yeah, correct.
Got it. Got it. No problem. We'll apply that. No issues. So, but the end goal is what? Removing the this special symbol from this escape sequence from the value. That is the end goal. Let's apply it. maybe we can do like whatever the best option we can use. So we have column here, we found it. Now what you have to do, if we can do a quick check, if new line, you can just say in call in that value we are saying. This is straightforward. You can see now. Once we read that this department number, the last column, when you say calls of 4, it reads all call, every time we iterate this list, this row, this department is read, and we need to check if new line exists in that. Then what we can do, even in that case, you need to know if you want to remove space there, what you have to do. We should know where to put space, Naveen. You got it right. So that is important. So you can apply a method here. The easy thing is, calls dot ends with. You can see here, right? You can check here. There are multiple ways, right? If I say ends with, this is one thing. Oh, 1 minute. The check can be done like this. Ends with. Best choice is if instead of checking this new line, if it ends with in single quotes, put new line. Okay, then what you have to do now? We are just trying to build a logic, that's all, just to check, observe, wait here, friends, that's all. Now new line is one character altogether. It's not two characters, keep in mind, friends. If you want to know, quickly check print length of what? Length of new line, just to know quickly. So ln of y error. Okay. Unexpected syntax error.
So in if we need to close another bracket.
Okay, sorry. Sometimes this brackets is little confusing. Okay, no problem. Thank you. So this is fine now. Just quickly test. We are just quickly checking what is the length of this one and then print it. And you can see length is 1 itself. I just want to show you this because sometimes some of us might have a little question like these are two characters, right? But these are escape sequences, new line, slash n, slash t, slash r, slash b. All these are treated as one character. Just keep in mind, friends. Okay, fine, no problem. So we have to just find the position of it here. Okay, what is that you can quickly do is so from this one you need to just get the position of it, right? So and then based on that you can one is apply remove. So okay, fine. One thing is I just want to show you this new line is treated as a single character, friends. That's all. Okay. Now what we do? We are checking if it ends with new line, then we should do the removal of the new line. As discussed, we can just add call dots, Naveen has given us one choice like replace. Replace what? Here, old character with new character, replace function, new line. Wherever we have that new line is there in that string. The meaning of this is replace old character with he just told okay, new character. You can see it's giving us a clear syntax here. What we are doing, we are just applying old character here and just passing new character. In this is not space. This is an empty string so that nothing is added. After that, this is what the process quickly you should do to remove that new line from that particular string or particular column. I hope this is clear. So what we did, we try to extract that column which has new line appended. This is the algorithm we are following. And then we did a check like if it ends with the new line. Already we know that, but we are just doing a sanity check here. This is called sanity check. Yes, if it ends with new line, just replacing that what is that new line with this space. That's all. Sometimes few characters do. You can see the fifth row doesn't have new line. So just to avoid that, we just applied this sanity check. Otherwise, by default, you can just say replace slash and with slash space. That's all. Right? Not to avoid few of these cases like this. In case if some value don't have new line, then we don't need to apply any extraction on that. Extraction means any removal on that. I hope you are clear now. So here, this is the quick idea. Let's print that column and see now after removal, print of call, and then see if new line is removed from that particular column or not. Okay, let's print it now. So you can see perfect. So that new line is not there. Suppose comment this. So you do one thing. You can comment this code for just and see before. Otherwise, you do one thing. Before removing new line, we are printing column. After removing new line, we are printing column and see the difference now. Now right click and then you can see now. Go and see. But when you print, it won't show us again. Of course, it implicitly it looks like this. What you can do is but anyhow, new line is removed. This one is something without new line. We are not seeing that there. Okay, no problem. So what we do right now? So we remove new line. This is fine. Now we have to replace it back into this particular position. What we should do? We should replace this processed column. I mean that wherever we remove new line, again replace that value into the same position. How do you do? 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So what you have to do? Some you can apply. So this is the your list, right? To that, what you can do is calls dot append. Don't use append, calls dot. You can use insert method here. You can see here. So append means something which adds your data at the end of list or data structure. But insert is used to insert a value at a specific position. Okay. Now, once after I remove this new line, I want to again replace the value into the same position after removing new line. So what I am doing, I am using insert and up and again inserting that value into the same position here. You can see here. Right. So what you do right now? So now you can print this. You can print your data structure one more time, not call, print calls. That list one more time and see if you observe a data here, observe a list without new line for this department number. Let's run this now so that the small processing we did to remove that new line, we can see that impact. If this worked or not, if you want to see that, just run code and observe that now. Now, what you can do? So we have inserted at 4th position. That is fine. Where is it? It has to give us some. Calls we split. I think it's not.
Sir, we are not inserting the data. Just we are inserting a position. At fourth position, we are just trying to insert, but we are not tell like what we have to insert.
Okay, yeah. That's correct. I agree. Calls dot insert of 4 comma. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, let's do one thing. Instead 4 comma. What is that you should do? We should pass call here. I think this is the one, right? Where we process data. So pass that call. Yeah. So we have, this is the syntax, friends. What is the syntax of insert? That index and then the value we want to replace in that index or insert into that index. Okay, let's run this time. It has to print calls actually. So I'm not seeing that calls output here. Just checking that. So let's run it now. Now you can see this. This is the output. See, can you see the difference now? So it's inserting 2 values, right? Just a minute. There is some. Let's remove all this one by one. because these multiple prints are causing little. So this is the one exactly what we need now. I think let's run it and see. But it's not printing that whole row now. Just a minute, friends. Let me put a debugger and run it.
In the if condition, we have just replaced it, but we have not saved it, right? Call equal to call dot replace. Maybe the string is immutable.
Yeah. Call dot replace of. No,
The
no. When
call
we
is-
say, yeah, when you apply replace, it has to replace it, right? Of course, that is one thing. But when you print this calls, it has to give us the list here, the whole list, right? So
Yeah,
we
after
have.
replace, like, will it be appended to the same string, or like we need to store it in like call equals to call dot replace? Maybe like
I
sometimes in
think
Java, it's like this way. Because
this is by default, it will automatically replace in the existing column. I don't think that is appending is needed again, Naveen. Okay, appending is needed, but the thing is, okay, that is one thing. This will automatically replace. I believe we don't need again any special appending. You got it right?
in Java, like, we were doing that because it's
Java,
immutable.
but here it is not needed. I even, yeah, I understand with Java because I do use Java. But here it will maybe you can just quickly try like this with a small string. We will see that now. Okay, just for testing. But my question is, my this thing is, I'm just checking it when we print calls. Actually, at least it should return that list, right? That whole list. That's I'm just checking now. So what we do is we do one thing. We'll just give a syntax here. Calls in. Just add little. It is giving this one in list. Let's just add this and see comment where, because we need to understand whether data is coming properly or not. Format of what just passed calls to this. Let's see. This comments make gives us a clear means this is our data, but new line is not removed. Again, it replaces same value into the when we say insert 4 0 1 2 3 4. It has to insert replace here. It's not replacing, but it's trying to push there, and also it's not removing that. See this one is not working here. So which one? So if you see, do you get this? There is another way. When you try to replace, see this is coming here. Okay, can you see this, Naveen? Because and again, when we apply replace, replace is not working. I believe. Why? Let's print call here. Friends, you can just take it as a use case like call in. I mean, call is simply. You can close this dot part, but then we can apply that slicing and remove it. There is another way we will apply that. All of you can take it as a like a exercise, like how we apply different things while implement code. So please don't get bored or something, friends. Consider it as a learning experience. Or so save this. We are just testing in both places if call is having any impact or not. Okay. Now let's run this so that we get a quick idea. You can see now call is 50, call is 50. Before and after we are seeing here. It's printing 2 times. But here we are not seeing difference because only when we append it to the list, it is showing that new line. But when printing independently, we are not seeing it. So what we can do now? So there is another way. If at all, if you want to remove that exclusively.
Can you please do that once, like call equals to on 31st line, and just do once and then we'll see. Call equal to,
You
yeah,
want
and then
me
run.
to assign it, right?
Yeah, now you just run
Okay.
once.
Okay, but yeah, I'll do that. Definitely will go with that. But this has to do implicitly on that string itself, Naveen. But as you are asking me to do that, let me go with your suggestion. Okay, is this what you are saying, right?
Yeah, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the fourth position, we don't have slashes now.
Correct. It's removing that. So fourth position.
I mean, in the insert only,
Yes,
maybe that.
correct. Yeah, this one is somehow again why this is coming. This we should check back again. So fourth, it try to remove that is succeeded. Yes, when you apply like this. But my point is, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll just quickly test with the small code. Why again? It's adding one more. Means got it. See why this another value is added is when we insert a value here in fourth position, already a value will be there in that position. It is moved to the fifth position. That's what happened. And this worked, Naveen, as you say, right? So this is working, no problem. Uh, so what can do is before we replace, what we can do is we can remove that existing value. What we can do, so we are appending some value here, right? What we can do is so here calls dot what you can do is
We can directly like calls of 4 equal to call. In the index only, we can directly replace.
yeah, that's what we are doing. So what you are saying something. What is that?
I am saying like the calls of fourth position is there, right? Calls of 4
Correction.
equal to call. In the if
Okay.
statement,
Assignment. You are saying the assignment thing. Okay. Instead of
directly,
using
assignment. Yeah, sir. Instead of methods,
assignment.
directly.
Okay. So got it. Thank you, Naveen. So you are saying calls of
The if
this one.
condition, sir.
Got
That is
it.
the if
Yes. I think we can, after removing, definitely, right? So this
Yeah,
call, anywhere we can apply that, no problem. You are asking me here, right? Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
in the if condition only, because the call variable is inside the if condition only. The
Correct.
replace.
Calls of 4 equal to call. Okay, let's try this. You are just trying assignment. Okay.
Yeah, sir.
Now let's run this now. So this time even you don't need this. Let's run this now. Yeah, this is perfect. Thank you, Naveen. So we had gone. So this is all together. We removed new line. So what we did here, this is a simple algorithm, and there you can see there is a lot of processing here, friends. Right? This time here, what we did here, we tried to validate if there is new line present in each column, and then one choice is replacing that new line with some empty string so that that new line is totally removed. That is one choice, and we assigned it to a string to the same string back again. So this totally avoids that new line there. Yeah, I think this should be a temporary change. If you just apply this, I did this one because when you just try this apply directly, this is the temporary change. Again, still once after this, the new line come back. So Naveen suggested us to replace it. That is the assign again, reassign it so that the new value replaces old value. Second thing, there are different ways because while working with data structures, we can do it in different ways. One thing is, so once we get that column after removing that new line, we can just what we can do here, friends, you can see here. We are assigning that value to this location so that this time you can have a perfect list here without any what any new lines here you can see. And this is a data processed properly, perfectly. So finally, this is a quick idea about what friends, about different types of reads. So read and read lines, all that. Second thing is, what if we have some certain special characters and how do we remove that? That is another idea. And thanks to Naveen for giving your inputs here in this, Naveen. Okay, it's more of a teamwork this time. Thank you. So again, let's go to the next one. Are you good till this? Can you please confirm in the chat box, friends? So this is the idea. You can copy. Let me copy and paste this one here. You can test it yourself. So on this, okay. Next one after that. Okay, what we do is we are done with till what? Till all this 4 methods. Next, move to the next scenario. What is it now? We know about close. We know about all that. So next thing, let's understand write method. Write method. Okay. But before that, all of you are clear. Which is clear, like is these methods clear to all of you, friends? Okay, fine. Next, let us understand how to do writing. How to apply writing into a file. So how do you write it? Just use write method to write some data to your file. This is the simple use case. Maybe you can use a better use case if you want that. We are just quickly understanding how to apply right here. This is a small, very minute thing to test it. Okay, so you can understand it quickly. What you can do is you can copy this. Otherwise, you can try it directly. No need to copy and try it. Okay, so that you get a clear idea. So what we do right now, understanding write method, another use case. Now you can just try to add a new program here, new, and then create a Python file. Write test, write method, write function testing. You can just add here. We are adding one by one. Okay. So what we do right now, again, open a new file. This time we are not reading anything. We are trying to read. So what you can do, you can just try to create a file, some file equal to use open method. And then this takes two parameters. One is the path of the file where you want to save it. That is one thing. If you want to save it in the local machine, just choose that path here. Okay. So what is that path here? This Selenium. So not Selenium, sorry, Python. Python, some folder we are using, right? Free classes or something. Just let me choose that one. Yeah, this one. Just copy this path and then create some file name here to write some data. Give the path. Sessions slash, of course, apply a double slash here. And here also double slash. And then what you can do here, you can see ABC dot. ABC is already say there, some XYG dot some txt. If you want, you can use txt or you can open any file, friends. It's not like you should open only a text file. You can open text file or CSV file or any other different files, right? There are different extinctions, right? I'm opening a file here and that too, I'm opening file in which mode? Write mode. You can see here because I am doing a write operation. Now what happens is if this file already exists, then it just add this data, whatever we are writing to that file. If file don't exist, it creates a new file and then add that data to that file. So we are this altogether we are doing a write operation here. So what you do now, first open the file and we have passed the mode here, which mode we need to pass, that write mode or something, we passed it. So now what you have to do, so this is a quick idea. What is it? Opening a file in write mode. This is the write mode. That is one thing. Okay. Next one. So what else we should do now? Now we should start writing data to the file. So writing data into a file. So how do you write it? Simply file dot write. You can use this method, write, and then just pass something here. So this you can apply a new line. So after that, after each sentence or each line, if you want to push it to next line, just add this new line. That makes more sense. Okay. Otherwise, what if you don't use a new line? Let's test this as well so that you get an idea. What is the difference between adding new line and without new line? That also gives you some clarity. This is a, simply speaking, what is it? Test. Okay, and then finally, what you can say file dot close. Okay, that's it. So this is the quick idea how to write some data to a file, right? So now write this and now test it. What is this? It is so simple. The steps are simple here. We opened a file in read mode, sorry, write mode, and then we try to write some data to the file and we closed it. Right. So let's test it. And each time, what is that we do? We just try to apply, write something here. Right. You can see here file dot write means we are just adding some 4 lines of data to the file. Our expectation is 4 lines should be present in the file. Okay, let's run this and see how it look like. What would be the data, structure look like in the file. Okay, run this now. We ran it. Suppose you just add some print statement just to quickly know that writing is done. So you can simply say just for our understanding, because we are not seeing anything in the file, writing is done. Okay, so adding these comments makes more sense to you. And now if you add some logging, it's much more useful. We'll see that as well little later, how to add a logger to the file and see how we can update logging as well. Okay, here writing started. These things makes more sense to us. Okay, and if you want, you can add some sleep also, so that that slight waiting also helps us to observe the flow properly. Okay, now anyhow, I am just quickly running it. You can see here, write started, writing is done. You can just remove this A here. Okay, now what you have to do, go to this path and see if you can find this file XYZ and see how this data is stored in XYZ. If all these lines are written to the file and if it is in the same format as we are writing here. So go to the XYZ is there, sure. And we see 1 KB means data is definitely written. Open and see how it looks like. But here, if you see, it is written in a single line. It is not line. It is not written line by line. But this is not my expectation. I want data like this. This in one line, is in one line, A in one line, test in one line. Likewise, I want data. So that's why if you want it line by line, so you didn't put what is that after each, what is that? Each line you should add this new line so that that data is stored in the form of lines here. Okay, at the end, last line doesn't need it because but that is the one. If you want to, if you add it, nothing harm there. But for last line, you don't need that. Okay, just a quick idea. Now, if you try to rerun this again, then you see now you got an idea, right? Why we have added new line after each sentence here or after each line here. You got it right, friends. If you don't do that, all that you are writing here is just stored in a single line in your file here. You can see here. Where is it? I just opened and closed that. Okay, no problem. Let me open. See, this is the output format. If you don't include new line at the end of each statement in your code. Okay, let's what you do now. You just try to run it again. See, let's run this now. Again, we did this. We just modified a bit here by adding new line to each statement, end of each statement. Now go and check in the file. So if you see, there is a difference in the output, right? You see, now this data is added as a line by line here, is added line by line in your file here. Can you see this, friends? This is the quick idea about what, friends, idea about, what shall I say? This one, right? How to write data to a file. So this is a simple example. I don't say it's really something, what shall I say? Something really challenging, but just a quick idea how to use write methods in Python. Okay, write method in Python. So I'm just sharing this again with you. You can test it quickly, friends. Now after that again, after that, so are you good with this? Can you please confirm in the chat box if you are clear on with the right method? Till this, all of you are fine, right? Please confirm in the chat box if you are okay. Okay, next one, what is it we should discuss? So we did discuss about right as well. Now, if you are using open, that is fine. This all of you know this one, right? If you are using open with open, then we have to close it. There are again different types of open. There is one more called with open that we'll discuss again. Okay. Write lines, one more is there. So now after write, another type of write in Python is write lines, like how we have read and read lines. We have write lines. But the difference is write is used to write a string directly to a file. You can see it is writing a string, the whole string into a file directly. But write lines is used to write a list. You can see here. If you want to write a string of, I mean, a list of values into a file, then we have to use write lines. You can see now. So you can see if you want to write some group of lists, collection of lists into a file, then in that case, you can use this write lines, friends. I hope this is clear for you. I'm again repeating. Right, the difference between write and write lines is write is used to write a string write a string to a file directly. Write lines, it doesn't directly pass string, but we have to pass a list as a value to write lines. It takes list here. Maybe I'll show you in the this one in the IDE that definition of that write line so that you get a quick idea. You see, when you are one thing is important, friends. When you are working with any built-in functions, if it is if you are doing reading, you should always have that idea. What is the return type of that method? If you read something, if you are writing, which type of value, what value we can pass to that write methods. So you have to choose that data types here. That is important. Okay, so that we don't face any issues, but even nothing happens on trial and error, we can fix it. Not an issue. Even if you get errors, it's a learning. That's all. Fine. So what we do right now, let's test this quickly. What we do, let's create one more new file, or we can use the same one as this is a write thing only. Open another file, stuff XYZ. You can just name it as file2. Even if you put file, nothing happens. It will overwrite the previous one, but okay, it's fine to have one more file. And then here, you can just give a quick something like a.txt. And then prepare a list now, a list equal to something like, again, this is a demo or something, just a quick idea. This is, sorry friends, demo. Okay, if you want it to be placed line by line, okay, in the this one, you can add new line to each value. Or if you want all that values in one line, just put some space between after each line, each value, and then just add it. It's up to you how you want to place it. So now applying another method, you can see here these are all different write methods we can see in files here. One is write, the other one is write lines. This writable is not something you need now. Okay, you can ignore this, but these two are important. Write and write lines. That's all. I don't see any other methods here. So what you can choose write lines, then, and if you put a cursor here, you can see that is the, if you put cursor on this one, you can see. So this is the, you can see this is this, I mean, built-in thing here. You can see now, right? The definition of that method here. You can see this. So what is it taking here? It is taking some iterable value. Iterable means something like a list or something like a set or something like something. It takes, you can see iterable means anything like any collection, simply speaking. Okay, I hope this is clear, friends. So write lines takes collection. So we are preparing some data in the form of list, and then what we are doing, we are passing that list here. But what would this write lines accept? Any, you can see here, any iterable. Iterable means any collection, in fact. Okay. So that's how we can get hold of all these methods. I mean, we can understand how this method look like and what we can pass to that. All that we can try to learn from here itself. You don't need to go and search anywhere. Okay. So that's all about this one, friends. So finally, what you should do. So we've opened a file and then we write something to a file, and then what we are doing. But this time, that multiple lines, we just put it in a list and then we added to that write lines. And then finally, what you should do, files to dot close. This is program to small project for write lines. Okay. Hyphen simple for write lines. Okay. So now run this now. Of course, you can add some this thing here if you want. Writing started. All this is just for user readability purpose. But even if you don't have these prints, nothing happens. Okay. So run this now. What we do now, right click and then run it. So writing is done. We'll go and check in the this one. This file is created, you can see, and this is included. Now you can see here. Data is included. So this is how we can play with the write lines. I hope you are clear with the write method and write lines method and the difference between these two. So how to pass data to write lines, how to pass data to write method. I hope all this should be fine for you, friends. Okay. And you can test it yourself. I think I have given this code to you as well. Maybe if you want, you can test it, please. This is a quick idea. Next one after that is write lines is done, right? So this is a small scenario, I believe we just tested. A small use case. I think at that time I just built it. But okay, we can ignore this for now. I'll come back to the use cases again. Reading data, we did it already. We did a more than a bigger program in the last session. So what you do is we can ignore this for now. And then now append mode, append X, all this is clear. XVL we had discussed earlier. Exclusively open a file. The first session itself is that. So that we discussed, and we didn't discuss A mode. Append mode, we can quickly test it now, and then we can close that scenario. Binary files you can ignore for now. We don't deal much of binary files in a real environment. Maybe if you want, I'll show you one or two examples. That is fine. So, but still, okay, no problem. We can do it in the tomorrow session. And append, I'll just show you now itself. It's a simple one. So let's close that now and few more file attributes we need to discuss. And then after that is you can see few more important dynamic methods like seek, all this we should discuss. And few important things related to files, whether file exists or not, all that checks again. So maybe if you want to play with little images, that is binary data, then you can try this. We can check tomorrow how much this works. We can see it in tomorrow's session. And then this is all about regular files. I believe we are done with this file handling, regular files, normal file handling. Then we can jump to CSV files and then processing CSVs, and then we play with again few more important things like all this. Now, okay, we do one thing. Let's use append thing, append scenario. Append means what? Suppose just a small example. Let me just do one thing. So you can just take some data, copy this and paste it. Just understanding append. Append is something which is used to add data. Add same like write mode. Difference is, suppose if you open same file again in write mode, you lose the data from that file. But right, let me show you with example so you get a clear idea. I'm copying this time, not just copy this, paste here, change that file name if you want. Just give it as some BBB, something like this. Okay, just give any meaningful name. I'm just giving a random name, friends. It's up to you what name you want to give. But in real program again, you have to give some specific names. So in a real environment, okay. Here, as we are in testing it, so we can give any name of our choice. Fine. Now, if you open this in write mode, you can see now what we can do. Suppose you write something to this file. Maybe you can choose the same file, same program if you want. You can apply this one. See. So now open again, same file, this a.1 something, same already existing file. What is that existing? I'm trying to open the same file in write mode, right? And what I'm doing, I just want to add something like file 3 dot some write off, just adding a so something like hello to the same file. Earlier there is something like this is a demo, and then we are adding hello. So altogether, my expectation is this is demo hello should be there in the same file, this aaa.txt. Right, I am opening here again to add this hello to the existing file. I am opening same file again in write mode and doing that. Now what I am doing, I am closing it after that. Let me close it again. I'm closing it. Sorry. Open something. Okay. Now what you do? Run this now. I'm not adding all this now, all this decoration thing. Just I'm quickly testing you to show this one. What if you open same file in write mode, existing file in write mode, and try to write something? Will this be added to already existing content, or what happens? I just want to show you, because this is something we just need to have a quick idea. Right click and then run this. I think the code ran. Okay, what we do now? Go to that file and see here. Now what is that? We are seeing just hello here. What happened to the previous data? We lost all that previous data. This is what happens with write mode. When you open a file in write mode, we lose that previous data. It is open as a fresh file, and then that the new data replaces old data. Keep in mind. So what happens with write mode? Now we have seen it earlier. This is a demo is there. Now I tried to open the same file and write some data to that. What happened now? As you open in write mode, we lose all that previous data. Only it try to have new data here. Suppose you ask a question. We don't want to lose that old data. We have to have that old data plus new data should be added to the file. In such case, what you should do, you should use this append mode, not what is that other mode here, write mode, friends. Okay, choose append mode so that you have your old data plus new data also will be added to the file. So that in such cases, if you don't want to lose existing data, excuse me, then use append mode instead of write mode. What is the problem with write mode? Write mode loses all that old data and then replaces with new data. And if you want to keep both old and new data, just open that file, existing file in append mode and try to write the data. So what you do right now, right click, run this. This time you don't lose data as you are opening this file in append mode. Now go to that file and see. You can see this time. You can see here. Do you have all that? The previous data as well as new data. You can see. So this is what the advantage with append mode. I hope you are clear with all this, friends. So this is for today. There is much more on files again. It's not like, so we need to process some, you can see some CSV data, right? Dict data, dict readers, dict writers. There are many more. We'll work on that. Okay. In tomorrow's session. Okay. Shall we stop here for today? I think all of you are good, and special thanks to Naveen for his inputs in our processing. So shall we catch up again tomorrow? Okay, friends. I hope you are clear till this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll catch up tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can stay back. Else, we will discuss tomorrow's session. Okay. Thank you, friends.